Over the last year, I have completely neglected my mental health. I moved across the country away from friends and family, worked more than ever, and started aggressively chasing money. And although on the outside, everything looks better, I've never been in a worse mental state. I've recently found that I can't be left alone with my thoughts for more than 10 minutes at a time. I start to spiral and think about all the things that I should be doing or all the things that I'm doing wrong. And I know this experience isn't unique to just me. Mental health as a society is at an all-time low. Suicide rates are continuing to climb. And with June being Men's Mental Health Month, I figured that now is a good time to address this issue. So I decided to start journaling as a way to give myself the time and space to slow down, reflect, and find contentment. By doing this daily practice, my goal is to come out on the other side with the ability to be comfortable alone with my thoughts. We'll see. I guess this is day one of this journey. My default is to kind of think of the worst of myself in every situation, and when I'm allowed time to do that, it just gets bad, and I don't want that for myself. I feel like I'm super intentional with my time and what I do and my habits and everything, to a point where I don't think I deserve to be having those thoughts. And I'm hoping that this challenge and this journey will allow myself to find all the things that I'm doing right and kind of like actually notice them instead of just taking them for granted. And in that way, I'll be able to be more confident about myself overall, but also just kind of like that I'm doing okay and I'm doing a lot of things well. March was tough. It was my first month back to full-time freelancing. I had just gotten over a very aggressive flu. I wasn't making much money, and I had to pay my 2024 taxes. Safe to say I was off to a rough start. I'm about 2 weeks or so into this challenge, and March has been a doozy so far. Just been not much work, a lot of life things, and just trying to like get back to myself mentally, but journaling has been fine so far. I guess it's nice to have something to look forward to at the end of the night, but April is going to be crazy. It's looking like a lot of work, a lot of travel, and I'm worried about keeping up with it, the journaling throughout. I'm hopeful that it will be something that's like nice to have at the end of each day and not becoming kind of like a chore, but I imagine that that could be the reality. So I guess we'll see. But so far, I mean, I can already tell that March has been a slower month and April's gonna be crazy, and that's just like life doing its thing. So I'm hopeful that it's at least fun to look back on all these entries and see just like where I'm at each day, because it's definitely all over the place. Then we move into April, which was the busiest month of my life. I had more work and travel than ever before, and although I'm very grateful and blessed for all of the opportunity that I had, the timing felt pretty unfortunate. I had just started dieting pretty aggressively for a bodybuilding show that I had signed up for. Traveling for work is already pretty stressful, but adding the layer of not being able to eat anything makes it much worse. From April 14th to May 2nd, I was only in Chicago for 3 days. Mississippi, Nashville, Boston, Dallas, Florida, and Minnesota, all in the span of 3 weeks. There's definitely some whiplash experienced from March being so slow to April being so hectic. But I guess that's what I signed up for, being a freelance filmmaker. Well, why are you in a freight elevator, Cyrus? Good question. I was gonna do this update outside. It's raining, so here we are. Thought this would be cool. It's probably not. Whatever. Basically, I just got back from a very long month of travel and work, and it was a lot. I brought my journal with me everywhere though, and was still able to find some time to sit down, jot down my thoughts, and I'm honestly so grateful for that, because everything was so hectic and just like all over the place every day And I honestly think that if I didn't have my journal with me and have a moment at the end of each day to reflect on it and write down what happened, I think I would struggle to be able to remember what actually happened in each of those days a month from now. But I'm just glad that I have these entries that I can look back on and not have all of my memories just blurred. I feel like I'm always constantly looking ahead and never allowing myself to just be where my feet are, and this practice has allowed me to do that. That is something I often struggle with. My mind is always going over the never-ending to-do list, always thinking about what's next, and journaling every day has given me this moment at the end of each night to reflect, be where I am, be present, and stop thinking about the future so much. And I think that there's something to be said about sitting down at the desk, opening up your journal, clicking that pen on, and knowing that it's time to actually take on these thoughts and write down how you're feeling. This got me thinking about the concept of having a physical journal and what makes it different from just opening up your notes app and writing down how you're feeling on your phone. I was able to sit down with my good friend Steven Schultz, a photographer, designer, and lover of all things analog, to discuss why putting pen to paper is so important.
I really appreciate physical objects because I firmly believe that there is so much power to things that you can hold. I think tangible goods and little like peripheral things that we have in our lives literally hold memories. I think there's a lot of benefits from just taking a beat to, write down, even if it's like once a week or once a month or whatever it is, to kind of just do like a consistent check-in, whatever that means to you, to record those memories and to put pen to paper and literally fine motor skills, like get those thoughts into that journal or that book or wherever it is that you keep those things.
How do you think that this translates to the increasing problem with mental health? We've removed ourselves from this analog world that we used to live in. Do you feel like there's a correlation between keeping things more analog to having a better mental health state?
I think we literally put memories into physical objects in a way that we just can't when we're typing it into a computer or touching a touch screen on our phones. There isn't that same intimate connection. There's the motor skills aren't the same, the sensory experience isn't the same. It's a totally different experience in my opinion. It's a much less distractible experience. Like when you pull out a journal to write down what it is that's going on in your day, you're just doing that versus pulling out your smartphone, pulling out your laptop, and getting hit with dozens of different notifications and different things that are grabbing your attention. I think there's an enormous benefit to using journals and using pens and paper to preserve some of your memories and some of yourself in a sense.
And I feel like honestly, something that I'm always struggling with is time moving so much faster as we get older. I remember being a young kid and feeling like time moved so slow and all I wanted was to grow up and be an adult. And now that I'm in the early years of adulthood, it feels like time is fleeting. But journaling every day has provided me with a physical representation of days, and you can look back on each entry and recognize that there is a difference in each day. It's not just this blob of Q1, Q2, and months at a time getting blurred together. And when we fall into routines, it's so easy for that to happen. When we don't have unique experiences to remember, it's so easy for everything to just mesh together. But writing down my experiences of each day and where I was at mentally in each day has been so helpful in slowing time down for me. I'd like to think that the last 100 days are a clear representation that life is a roller coaster, and having this detailed log of where I was at emotionally, mentally, physically throughout that journey is something that I'm so grateful to have, to be able to look back on. And it's honestly why I plan to continue this habit and practice moving forward. Early on, it felt like a chore, but at this point, it's something that I look forward to at the end of every day. Sitting down, tapping into my thoughts, and having a moment where I can have a conversation with myself and be very real and honest with myself about where I'm at in that moment. It's how I feel about making these videos as well. It's marking this moment in time and gives me the ability to look back on it years down the line. So for anyone out there that struggles to sit with themselves and be alone with their thoughts, I think that this is a great idea and a great habit that you could implement. I know that it improved my mental health over the last few months, and I hope that it does the same for you. Just remember that we're all figuring this thing out as we go. So be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please consider subscribing, leaving a comment down below. It helps a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one.